Excuse the terrible lighting. You know what? I think it's just going to be a trend with my videos that I have terrible lighting. Also, if you hear my heater in the background, no you don't. It's freezing outside, and I also am in the basement, so it's even colder. And I didn't do the intro. Welcome back to my channel, or to my channel if you are new here. My name's Haley, and this week we are going to read books based off of my horoscope. So I had this idea to do this because I think it's so fun seeing like the post on Instagram, the reading books based off of your zodiac sign, and like it'll give you suggestions and stuff. And I thought that was fun, and I do want to do that. But I think that it would be fun to do it off of my horoscope too, because I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that, and I really want to do that. Each day I'm going to read my horoscope and then read a book based off of that. So I'm gonna go with the Washington Post. They do horoscopes every day. So I'm gonna do that, and basically I'm just gonna pick out keywords from the horoscope and try to find books that somehow fit within that. I don't know how this is gonna turn out, but that's the idea. I'm also gonna go off of my rising sign instead of my sun sign. Maybe one day I'll do my sun sign, but I feel like the rising sign just doesn't get enough love. So for anybody that's curious, I am an Aquarius sun and moon and Scorpio rising. So I'm gonna go off of the Scorpio rising for this video. Today's horoscope reads, "Don't get drawn into any drama today. Sure, juicy gossip is magnetic, but it will only pull you away from important things. Besides, most of what everyone is talking about is not true, so why waste time pursuing things that are so trivial? Get serious and leave all the cattiness to people who don't care about their reputation or growth. Learning about the lives of celebrities and who's dating whom is just not stimulating enough for you." Some things that are drawing my attention is it immediately like the drama, the gossip. I immediately think like Gossip Girl, but I don't have that book, and also I don't really want to read it either. We also have like celebrities, who's dating whom, so it could be like a romance. So I'm going to try to find a book on my shelves, or I have Kindle Unlimited, so I might try to find something on there, and I'll let you know. I'll come back to you. But yeah, I gotta think about this because I'm not exactly sure what I would pick. I am back, and I have 3 options, and I'm not exactly sure which one I'm gonna choose yet, but hopefully by the end of this clip I do. So the first one is Daisy Jones and the Six. I know they're not exactly famous. My dog is coming. Hi, Goofy. I know that they're not exactly famous, but I think they get famous in this book, and I'm pretty sure there's dating and drama. So there's the first option. What? You like that one? Or we have Crazy Rich Asians, which what? You want a toy? Not a toy. A water bottle? Oh fuck, that was open. So the next book is Crazy Rich Asians. I know that this has to do with rich people, which good enough for me. This is a romance. The 2 people in here, I believe, get married, or they go to a wedding, something like that. So there's that. I'm gonna guess that there's probably like gossip, drama, that type of stuff. I'm not exactly sure. And then the last book is about writers, and it's a romance. I don't know how famous the writers in this are, but I'm counting them as celebrities. So these are my 3 options. I try to go with the celebrity aspect more than anything. I also know that I could do like a celebrity memoir or something like that and probably get like the gossip and stuff out of it. But I'm not really interested in that, and I'm trying to read books that are on my physical TBR. So I'm gonna choose one of these. I think I'm gonna go with Daisy Jones and the Six. I thought I would update you really quick, and I think it's kind of fitting that you can hear my brother playing the guitar in the background. I am on page 59, and I love this so far. I have so many tabs. I gotta go back and actually like annotate them, but it's just, I love this book so much, and it feels so real. Like these characters feel real. I feel like I'm reading like a memoir. It's It's so good. I think if you liked this book, then you should pick up The Storyteller by Dave Grohl. Especially on audiobook, because he narrates the audiobook, these characters feel so real, and it reminds me of that book a lot, mainly because he was in Nirvana and Foo Fighters, and so he talks a lot about stories from both groups and also like his childhood growing up, and so I think if you like this, that you should check that out. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm gonna continue listening to this on audio because it does have a full cast, which I think is really fun. And yeah, it's just told through interviews. Oh, I guess I should explain what this is about. So for anybody who doesn't know, this book is about this band. So we start out learning about Daisy, who isn't part of the band at first. She comes in later. So you're getting stories from her as she's trying to make it as a songwriter. And then you are learning about the Six, which is a band that are up and coming, and sooner or later I know that they're gonna like come together because it's literally called Daisy Jones and the Six. So I'm not exactly sure how that's gonna come about, but so far we're getting both of their perspectives. And so the Six has now gotten signed. They're in LA, and that's also where Daisy is from, so somewhere along the line they're gonna come together. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm on page 155, and I think this might be a 5-star. I have that feeling. I love the writing, first of all, and I love how the story's told, and I think that that's contributing to it more than anything. Also, the characters, they feel very real. Like, this just feels like a book about these members of this band and their story, and I really love it. So I think I'm at like 43%. This book, 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. First of all, I knew I was gonna enjoy it from like literally the first chapter. These characters just feel so real, and now I just want to watch the show even more. This is so good, and I'm definitely gonna read more of this author's books. I think she has the potential to be like a favorite author. I love this so much, and also like I like her writing. I have to go back through and like actually annotate because I just marked the spots. Now it's time to read my horoscope for today and find a book. Today's horoscope reads, your words have extra weight today, so be mindful of what you say. You can't just toss off whatever comes to your mind. Think through what you are about to say, and if you offer criticism today, give concrete examples. Help people understand what you mean, or else they could just get defensive and reject what you are saying out of hand. And don't forget to make it clear to them that you know they are capable of amazing things. They need to hear it. Okay, as a whole, it's giving self-help. And I don't want to read a self-help book. I definitely probably own 1 or 2. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I can also see this being like coming of age with like the words holding extra weight. So maybe like a sad book. I don't really need a sad book, but capable of amazing things. Okay, so like fantasy. I think I'm gonna read Girl in Pieces. No one talk about my bangs. Don't do it. Don't talk about them. They're not doing good today. With that being said, I have updates. First and foremost, I finished Girl in Pieces. I'm gonna give it a 3.5 stars. This book is really just about this girl that is broken. She's not had a good childhood, and she's recovering from self-harm, so trigger warning for that. And this story is just about her trying to find her place. It's very raw, it's very deep, it's sad, it's a lot of things. With that being said, I think there are better books that do this. This book reminded me of 2 different books. One is Go Ask Alice, which I read a couple years ago, and I didn't really love, but the topics and just like the vibe of the whole book felt very similar to that. And the other one is Suicide Notes. And so both of those books are reminiscent of this. As far as the horoscope, this is I feel like this may be going to be the most spot on. Because first of all, we have extra weight, which I feel like this character carries a lot of extra weight. Be mindful of what you say. You can't just toss off whatever comes to your mind. And this is literally told through the character's perspective, through like diary type entries. And the line, and don't forget to make it clear to them that you know they are capable of amazing things. They need to hear it. I feel like is just something that this character needs to hear. Yesterday's horoscope, it reads, you're going to have to rely on more than your warm smile and cheerful personality to gain advantage over the competition today. Your persuasive nature is as strong as ever, but not quite strong enough to change someone's mind without having facts to back you up. So before you start any kind of negotiations today, make sure that you've got all the evidence you need to support your position. Do your research and no one can disagree with your findings. Some stuff that really stuck out to me first is competition, and then persuasive nature, or just nature in general. I was thinking negotiations as well, changing someone's mind, and research. Some of the first things that I thought about was like a nonfiction book. I was thinking like a book about scientific research, basically. And then I also thought about like a book about scientists, not necessarily a nonfiction, just like a science fiction type book. Couldn't find anything like that. There have been books that I've read that probably would have fit a little bit better, but I didn't have any that I haven't read that I could find. My next thought was like competition, nature, that type of stuff. The Hunger Games would have been perfect, I think, for this, but I don't own the Hunger Games, and I would rather own them, or at least have the physical copy if I was gonna read it. So I didn't end up picking that up, and instead I picked up The Night Circus. This is a long book. It's 500 and something pages, which works because I did say that one of my goals for this year was to read one 500 plus page book a month, because I don't read big books. I'm very intimidated by them because I'm such a slow reader. It was the closest to like a competition type story that I could find. I'm almost halfway through. Let's talk about the plot of The Night Circus. This book is about the Night Circus, but at the same time we're also following these two magicians that are gonna be like in a competition, a duel against each other when they get older. So we're following them, and simultaneously we're following a younger boy named Bailey, and then we're also following characters from the Night Circus. There is a lot going on, and we're bouncing between like different years. Yeah, there's a lot going on, and it's one of the reasons why I haven't finished this is because I'm trying to like take my time with it. I'm listening to it on 2x speed, but typically I can listen to 3x speed, but I'm really enjoying it. I wouldn't typically pick up this type of book, but this has so much hype that I was like, I want to read this, and I've had this on my TBR for a really long time, so I would like to just finish it. Also, there is like nature themes in it. Like there's a tree that keeps getting talked about, so very much like fitting the horoscope well. So it's been a week or so since I finished The Night Circus, and I was editing the video last night and I realized that I did not talk about it. So I thought I would give my final thoughts on The Night Circus. I'm settling at like a 4-star, 4.5 stars, something like that. I really enjoyed this book. I think that after reading the ending, it's the type of book that you definitely have to reread, because what I got out of it was really not until the ending. As far as why I picked this up, which was for the competition aspect, it wasn't as much of a competition as I thought it was going to be, but regardless, I think that that's fine. There was a lot of nature imagery in this, so that really fit for the horoscope. Yeah, I don't have much else to say about this. I definitely want to reread it. This definitely wasn't like my all-time favorite book, but I didn't go into it thinking it was going to be, so I'm not like disappointed over that or anything. I've definitely wanted to read this for quite a while, so I'm really glad that I was able to get to it and read it in this video. It is a couple days later from the last time that I updated you guys. I took a couple days off from filming because I was reading another book, but it didn't work out, and so I DNF'd it. The first DNF of the year, and I didn't want to put it in the video, so instead we're starting over with a different horoscope. So yesterday I read my horoscope and I picked a book for it, but I didn't get that far in it, so I'm gonna introduce you to the new book today. My horoscope from yesterday reads, someone who you don't usually see eye to eye with has important things to teach you whether you like it or not. You need to give them some time and try really hard to respect their right to speak even if you hate what they are saying. This will set the tone for an honest dialogue, and you'll be the one to get all the credit in the end when the two of you start improving your communication skills and relationship. Harmony is easy to achieve when you think the best of someone. Some of the things that popped out to me was eye to eye. So I was thinking a book with an eye on the cover. Was not interested in reading any of those. And then there's like teach in there, which I wasn't really thinking anything about yesterday, but this book made me think about it. Some other phrases or keywords are respect their right to speak, honest dialogue, improving your communication skills and relationship, harmony, or just that whole sentence, harmony is easy to achieve when you think the best of someone. So I ended up choosing Dead 11 for a couple reasons. Actually, only one reason. I lied. And that is that there are transcripts, dialogue, in here. Do I think they're honest? I don't know, but I picked up on the dialogue and I went with that. But now that I'm reading it, there's a couple other things that kind of work for this. So first being teach. One of the characters in this was a teacher. Also the author's a teacher, so win-win. Another is respect their right to speak, or just respect their right, because in this the characters are controlled, basically, who live on this island. They don't really have their own rights, especially like the teenagers, and they're afraid of something. I'm not really sure what, but they have a bunch of rules that they have to follow. So I've been reading for the majority of my day, and I'm on page 78 right now, and I'm really enjoying this. I just want to know like what's happening. I find a lot of times with mysteries though that I read them and I pick them up and I'm like, or well, I pick them up and I read them, and I just want to know like the mystery aspect, and I want to know like what happens, but then I'm always disappointed. It's one of the reasons that I don't really like picking up thrillers. I found that out last year because I did not like a lot of the thrillers that I read. So I'm hoping that's not the case with this, and I'm hoping that like the plot twist is just like really good. I'm currently getting ready for bed, but not getting ready for bed. I should rephrase this. I'm getting ready to lay in my bed and either one, read, or two, scroll through TikTok. It's really a toss-up, but I'm getting ready to do that. And I thought that I would update you on my progress in Dead 11 and just what I think of it so far. So something that I wanted to talk about when it came to this book is the mystery element. I'm enjoying it so far. My only complaint is that he is definitely dragging it out. I'm like 100 and last I checked 150 pages in, but I might be more than that. I'm not really sure because I picked up the audiobook and I had no idea where I'm at, but the book is like 400 and something pages long, and I just want to know what is happening. And we just got like a little bit of information, so I'm hoping that more comes through in like the next 20 to 50 pages, because like I want to know more about the rules of the island more than anything right now, and I think we're gonna start getting that. Yeah, it's mostly just been the synopsis so far from what I remember of reading it, but I'm hoping that that kind of just picks up. I'm not really attached to any of the characters. I could care less about them, but maybe that's just me. I was trying to think of what else I would say about this while I was like washing my face and stuff, because I've already done that. But for the most part, it's like okay, and I don't hate it. I don't absolutely love it, but like it has a potential to go either way depending on really the big reveal, because I just want with that, bro. As far as my horoscope goes, I haven't really been talking about how accurate it is compared to like the books that I'm choosing, and so far it's been pretty accurate. This experiment is going great. The books that I've read so far, in the order that I've read them, starting with Daisy Jones, then Girl in Pieces, and then The Night Circus, I would say that Daisy Jones would be like a 5-star, Girl in Pieces was like a 3.5, I think is what I said, and The Night Circus lands at about a 4.5. So far, like, the horoscope has been pretty accurate. There's a quote that one of the characters says in Daisy Jones that I keep thinking about in this entire vlog. The quote basically just states that, like, if you look for reasons for something, you're gonna find them even if they're not real. And I feel that during this video, because the amount of times that I've read this horoscope and I have just like done whatever possible to find a book, or the amount of times that I've read a book and then I'll just relate like random words in the horoscope to the book, it's kind of how I feel. That quote kind of sums it up perfectly. I just thought I'd change up kind of the scenery because I just feel like I keep recording in the same places and I don't want to do that. I just read chapter 45. If you've read this book, you know, bro, I can't tell if it's terrible or it's not. Like, I can't give anything away. That's so messed up. Anyways, we found out like part of the mystery. Oh, she's such a liar. Okay, you can see the entirety of my room here, but we're gonna stick with it. It's like 11:30 at night, but I have updates and I want to talk. I feel like chatting. First and foremost, I finished Dead 11. I am giving this book 3.5 stars. 3 stars. 3 stars? Yeah, let's give it 3 stars. The first thing I want to say about this is it feels like not midsummer. Kind of, but not. What it does feel like though is Midnight Mass. I don't know if I ever gave like a full synopsis of the story, but basically we have these people that are on this island and they've kind of stuck to themselves. There's not much about them on the internet, and they are a mystery to everybody around them that knows of this island, and also to our main character Harper, who ends up going there to find his sister. And so we're following him, and we're also following people from the island, and we're following his sister in some chapters, and we're following this teenager that's trying to get off of the island, and there's a lot going on. So there's multiple mysteries going on in this book, but the main one is just like what's going on with this island. And they all kind of act like they're from like the 1990s, specifically 1994, I believe. Yeah, and we are kind of just trying to figure that out throughout this whole thing. The actual conclusion of the book just wasn't the greatest, and I think that's why I'm leaning more towards a 3. Most of it was very like predictable, and I just didn't like really love it. The payoff was not worth it to me in the end. So this is ending with a 3 star. I feel confident about that. I do really love this cover though. I have actually read 2 different books since I last updated you guys. My next horoscope is from the 23rd, and it reads, "The time for new experiences and new ideas has come, so be open to exploring new places. It's a great time to plan a trip to a foreign country or a place closer to home that you're unfamiliar with. Take your blinders off and look at the world through fresh eyes to see how things are for other people. You'll gain some insights that will help you get along a lot better with the new person in your life. You are opening your mind to new ways of living." So new is used a lot in this, and so I went with the book that was like the newest to me, and I actually got it in the mail that day. So I ended up reading The Moon That Turned You Back. This is a poetry collection, which I also don't read a lot of, and I'm not gonna really critique this because poetry I just feel like is genuine, and it's something that like I can't look at from like a critical lens because I don't know how to like critically analyze poetry, and it doesn't feel right judging poetry based off of my enjoyment of it. So for that, I'm not gonna like rate this really, but I will say that like I enjoyed it. I was lucky enough to actually receive this as an ARC. It doesn't actually even come out until March of this year, but I recommend picking it up. This is also by a Palestinian American author, and in this she talks about the places that she's lived and where she's from as well. She talks about Beirut, I believe is how you pronounce it, Beirut. She talks about Beirut, Jerusalem, and Brooklyn, and you get just like her perspective on it, as well as just her speaking on her life experiences. Poetry is just something that is so like, I genuinely feel like the most raw form of literature that you can get. There's not much that I feel like you can really edit out when it comes to poetry. Like, it's not like novels. You can't really switch up these words. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, it's real. And I just really appreciated this collection. So I read that for that horoscope and I really enjoyed it. My horoscope for today reads, let your mischievous side come out to play for a little while today. It's nice to be good, but it's so much more fun to be naughty. You deserve a little silly distraction today, and you've been itching to play some practical jokes and pranks for a while. As long as you're not hurting anyone's feelings or doing damage to someone's belongings, you've got a green light for fun times. You have a few friends who would love to get in on the good times too. So for today, I really leaned into the mischievous side. What the hell, Haley? I ended up going with a mystery. I don't know why I thought that said mysterious when I first read it. I'm guessing that's why. But regardless, I read a mystery for this. And it somewhat fits, so we're just gonna go with it. First of all, let's talk about the book. The book I read was Her Little Flowers. I got this to read last year, at the end of last year, and I did not end up getting to it. It was in the Goodreads Choice Awards, and I had never heard of it, and so I ended up picking it up. And honestly, I think I'm gonna give this a 4-star. I feel like the first half dragged, but the second half, it was like hit after hit after hit after hit. We just like kept getting hit with stuff. I would pitch this as like The Haunting of Hill House meets The Secret Garden. First of all, this book was like maybe the most well-plot book I've read in a really long time. That has to be the reason that it got into the Goodreads Choice Awards. I think some of the stuff was very predictable. I think some of the stuff also may have been more predictable if I wasn't stupid. But regardless, it was like, it was a good time. You know what? Actually, not The Haunting of Hill House. This gives The Haunting of Bly Manor vibes. And so if you've read this and you've also watched The Haunting of Bly Manor, there's a very specific part that I'm thinking about that kind of matches The Haunting of Bly Manor. So a short synopsis is that this book is following these sisters. So we're following the oldest sister, Francine, and she is kind of this like recluse. She stays to herself in her family's manor, and she doesn't really talk to anybody. She kind of just vibes by herself in her garden, and she gives tea leaf readings, and she's honestly, you know, just by herself the majority of the time. And then she gets these lodgers who end up staying in her manor because she needs money, and this is like a simple, easy way for her to make money because she has this big house that she does nothing with. She lives in it by herself. Her mom had recently passed away, so she was just there by herself. And then her sister shows up, and her sister's like, okay, well, I just got divorced and I want to see you. I hate this house, but you know, I'm here. I'm gonna stay here for a while. And so she does that. When she shows up, she's like, hey, I have this thing I need to tell you, and you're not gonna believe it. I'm not gonna spoil the thing. It's fairly early in the book, but I don't want to spoil it. But regardless, she basically flips Francine's entire world upside down and sends her on this wild chase to uncover her family's history. It feels, like I said, very well thought through, and I appreciate that. Now, I know what I said before, that I was like, I really thought that said mysterious. I did, and that's my fault. But I still think this horoscope kind of fit. This is me kind of putting everything together to make this work. First of all, you deserve a little silly distraction today. First of all, the book was a silly distraction for me. Maybe not silly, but a distraction. And also, this whole book is a distraction for our main character. She's distracted. She's busy solving this mystery. Also, you have a few friends who would love to get in on the good times. Once again, nothing was good about this. But the two lodgers, especially one of them, there's also like a little bit of a romance in here with her and one of the guys staying with her. And he gets in on the fun. The fun. That's how we're making this work. I ended up picking up Wrong Place, Wrong Time for my horoscope for today, which reads, greediness isn't just about money. People can be greedy about time too, and it is just as negative. So if you feel like someone is demanding too much of your time, it's perfectly fine to say something to them about it. Make it clear that while you enjoy spending time with them, you have your own life to lead. Too many people tie their identity to the identity of someone else, and you shouldn't encourage that. You're your own person, and they should be too. So time is mentioned 3 different times. So I felt like that worked really well for this book. So obviously, because time was mentioned so much, I wanted to pick this book up. I immediately thought of this book when I was reading the horoscope. And I'm actually really glad that I picked this up because I am absolutely enjoying this. Is it like the greatest book to ever exist? No. But I'm having a great time. For anyone who doesn't know what Wrong Place, Wrong Time is about, it is about this woman who witnesses her son murder someone, and she goes to bed that night after he's murdered this person, and when she wakes up the next morning, it's the day before he had murdered someone. Each time she goes to bed, she wakes up and it's a day later, a couple days later, a couple weeks later, and she just keeps going back in time. While she's going back in time, she's trying to figure out why her son would do this, because she just doesn't understand. Like, her son's not a murderer. She doesn't know why he killed this person. There's a lot of moving parts in this, but like, it's very digestible, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not having a hard time at all understanding what's going on. Yeah, it's not like the most greatest piece of literature to ever exist, but it is a good time, and that's what I'm here for. I'm currently halfway through Wrong Place, Wrong Time. You can't even see it. The most okay, I didn't see it coming, but other people could probably. I am so shocked. This book has me hooked. It has me hooked, and this isn't focusing, so I'm gonna go. But what? I'm currently on page like 306 right now, and they just dropped like the biggest, yeah, page 306. They just dropped, bro. I'm so confused, but like, I think I get it. And if how I'm understanding it is right, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I know it looks like I haven't moved this spot, but I have. And it's just many hours later. I finished this book. The twists, incredible. I didn't see any of them coming. I'm just shocked, bro. I am shocked. But also, maybe it's just because I don't see like plot twists coming the majority of the time. Yeah, this did it. I'm gonna give it a 4 star. I am absolutely glad that I read this. I try to read this sometime around summer last year, and I just couldn't get into it. I will definitely be reading more from this author. Also, quickly, I want to point out that I have never seen this actually, okay, the time loop type of story, sure, but the way that this whole story came together, it was great. I really enjoyed it. I have no complaints about this book. No, it's not my favorite ever, but I'm just shocked. I'm too stunned to speak. I think it's about time that we wrap up this video. I love this video because I was able to actually read books that I wanted to read, but I wasn't necessarily wanting to read them right now. Having to actually find the books based off of my horoscope and read them was just, I had a lot of fun. I really want to do this again, but based off of my sun sign, and then I can compare them based off of which horoscopes I feel are more accurate in terms of choosing my books, because this was a very successful reading vlog. Let me grab the books to talk about them. We had a 5-star, 3.5, 4-star, 3-star. I didn't rate this, but it's high up there, 4 or 5 stars. I'm gonna give that a 3.5, 4-star for Her Little Flowers, and then a 4-star. I would consider this a success. None of these books I hated. With that being said, thank you so much for watching this video.